Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to present you the game between Indian Grandmaster Puranik Abhimanyu and Indian Grandmaster Narayanan SL. In the 7th round of the Chess Olympiad, both the Indian teams were paired. This means Team India A was paired against Team India C, and the result of the match was Team India won the match. So let's see the game between Abhimanyu and Narayanan. Grandmaster Narayanan is very strong Grandmaster. He is not much celebrated, like for example all these rising talents like Gukesh, Nihal, Pragyananda were way back behind him. So he has played this game excellently. Let's see his game. He's playing as black. White is Abhimanyu. So white played the move e4 and he continued with the move e5. Knight f3, knight c6, and Roy Lopez happened in this game. Black played a6, bishop a4, knight f6, d3, b5, bishop b3, and black played the move bishop c5. Everything is theory here, and white played the move bishop g5. Now this is very much similar to the previous game which we covered, Grandmaster Abdul Satara versus Hari Krishna Pentala. Quite similar themes we are going to see in this game also. Now black kicks the bishop with the h6 and white plays the move bishop h4. Black has not castled yet, so there is no need to bring the bishop back on e7. We can continue with the move d6. So white played the move c3 and black continued with the move g5. So this is very typical, and we saw this into the from the game of Hari Krishna also. White played the move bishop g3 and now black castled. So now castling is fine as there are no sacrifices on the square g5. So here it's completely fine. White continues with the move castle. Black now plays the move, a very important move, that is bishop b6. Now we need to really understand why this move is important. Now in this whole structure, black would like to get his c pawn to the c5. And also the knight on c6 in the Roy Lopez structures is misplaced. So we need to improve it. And black is planning to play the move knight a5. Now how this bishop b6 move is relevant to this? So we'll check the line. Suppose in the game white played the move a4. But let's see white plays the move knight bd2. A completely natural developing move. Now black can go for the move knight a5. This attacks the bishop and we really want to extend the light square bishop. It is the most active piece of white. So white's likely move is bishop c2, and now black wants to play the move knight h5, and here we are going to win his dark squared bishop, and no one can stop us from doing that. So for example, if white continues with the move b4, still we can play the move knight g3 because rook on f1 is hanging. So let's see other variation. Suppose instead of bishop c5, black plays the move bishop b7. So how does this move have impact on that variation? Now after knight bd2, knight a5 is not working because white can simply play bishop c2 and directly knight h5 is losing piece because of b4. Our bishop is still on the c5 square. So let's say black will play bishop b6 here. So how does this move order matter? But it's white to play, and white can play the move of rook e1. And after knight h5, it will be met with the move b4, and here knight into g3 is not possible because there is no rook on f1, and here we are losing some pieces. So this was the subtle difference between the two moves, and from those two variations we got to know why bishop b6 is played, right? So bishop b6 is a mostly prophylaxis against moves like d4 and b4 ideas from white. So white continued with the move a4. So he cannot play knight bd2 because it allows the move knight a5. So here a4 is played, and now knight a5 is not working because a2 square is created for bishop and bishop can go back to a2. Bishop stays very strong on that diagonal. So black continued with the move rook b8, removing the rook from that file. So white takes on b5 and black recaptures. White continues with the move h3. Now the idea is just to prevent the move bishop g4. But at the same time the h3 move is a hook for black to attack. So to continue, black played the move knight e7. So this was everything in the plan, because black wants to improve his knight. Knight on c6 was misplaced. So knight will now go to the g6 square and we create a way for our pawn. So after white's knight bd2, black played the move knight g6. White played the d4 move. At some point, white has to play this move. Now in the game between Abdul Sattarao and Hari Krishna, white took on e5, and that was a big mistake as the bishop on b6 became very strong. Now in the game, white didn't do that. He continued with the move after rook e8. He continued with the move rook e1. So here black has to play the move c5. So this is very typical. And now white has to make some decision. Here white went little bit wrong. So he should have taken on e5 now, because see, the b6 bishop is blocked by his own pawn on c5. So after t into e5, you can pause the clock and try to find a good move for white. Okay, white can play the move c4, and this changes the structure in white's favor. Now the d5 square is key square, and white can easily bring his pieces with the move like knight f1 and knight e3, knight d5, bishop a4, and white is little bit better in this position. In the game, Abhimanyu didn't play this continuation. He played the move bishop c2. Actually, he may have missed a nice idea from black later on in this variation. The move bishop c2 takes the game in the wrong direction for white. So black now took on d4, and after white c into d4, see, the d4 pawn has got only one support from the knight, and black attacked that knight with the move g4. Now it looks like white can take on g4, bishop into g4, and white can take on e5. So that's quite fine. And taking on e5 back with the pawn, so like if black takes back on e5, then after knight f1, white is completely fine. But white missed the very nice move, that is knight h5. Now see, again the bishop is playing a very dangerous role here. Like the pawn on f2 is pinned and knight into g3 is a big threat. So white has to play the move knight f1 to protect the g3 bishop. And now after knight into g3, knight into g3, knight into e5. And this spin is very deadly for white. Already here, white is facing tough decisions to make. Now white played a nice move, that is rook a3. He wants to bring his rook into the game, and rook a3 defends the f3 knight also. Now black plays queen f6. Now for black, the position plays itself. Like there is nothing to think here. Queen f6 is just a very nice move, putting more pressure on the f3 knight. White played the move knight f5. The idea is to stop the queen's attack on f3, and now knight f3 is creating some problems for black. So knight f5 is being supported with the pawn of e4. So now black plays the move d5, attacking the e4 pawn. White continues with the move knight g3. Now of course white cannot take on d5 directly because knight is hanging on f5. So white removes his knight from the f5 square, and now he has like provoked the pawn on d5. So now he wants to take on d5, and this will activate his pieces. Here comes a question for the audience. How to continue as black? Pause the video and try to find the continuation for black. Again, we are going to use the tool of prophylaxis. White wants to take on d5. So how can we prevent it? Now here comes a very beautiful move. Idea basically. Black will play the move of b4, attacking the rook first, and when rook moves, now he has a very deep move, that is rook bc8. So how does this prevent e into d5? If white takes, then there comes the move knight into f3 check, pawn has to recapture, and after rook into e1, queen on d1 was overloaded, and here we win the piece. White cannot take on g4 as f2 is hanging. So this idea was like missed by Narayanan. He didn't play this. It was just game over for white. He played the move king h8. So this allows e into d5, and white is coming back into the game. So after e into d5, black took on f3. Again, the better recapture was to take back with the knight, but it's fine. Bishop into f3, pawn into f3, and black played the move queen h4. Now suddenly white is back into the game. Now of course the queen h4's idea is to take the g3 knight because f2 pawn is pinned, and practically it looks very bad for white. White can defend successfully. So white played the move king g2, and this allows bishop into f2. King into f2, and now queen h2 check, king f1. After king f1, black wants to take the knight on g3, but first he gives some checks. So this is a very nice technical play by Grandmaster Narayanan. So queen h3 check, king f2, queen h2, king f1, and now he takes on g3. White plays the move queen d4, centralizing his queen, and queen can prove to be a very nice defender. So he's also pinning the knight on e5. So black plays the move f6. Now white plays the move queen d2, and this is a big blunder. So white is trying to attack the h6 pawn, and also queen is good in defense. The best move and the move which would have saved the game for white was queen f2. And after like queen h3, white can just play queen g2, and black cannot make progress. This is equal position. So how does this queen d2 is a blunder? Take a moment, pause the video, and find the winning continuation for black. It is not very easy. Black plays very subtle move, that is not queen h3 check, but queen h4. That's great. After queen h3 check, there comes queen g2, and again white is holding. So queen h4, very quiet. So queen h4, a very quiet move. So what is its idea? Of course it is supporting the h6 pawn, but now knight c4 is a big threat. And white is in kind of zugzwang. We will check some variations. In the game, white played bishop e4, closing that e file. But what if white plays the move like queen g2? Now there comes the point of queen h4. Black has a fantastic resource. Black has a fantastic resource, that is knight d3. And as we can see, the rook on e1 is attacked 3 times. So rook into e8, rook into e8, and there is mate on e1, which is quite unstoppable. So queen g2 doesn't work. After queen h4, let's say he plays the move queen f2, but now this allows the move queen h1 check. And after queen g1, there comes a simple tactics of knight f3 and winning the rook. So in the game, white played bishop e4, trying to block the e file so that king can run king e2, king d1. But it is too late, and black simply plays the move rook g8. Now king e2 can be met with the move rook g2 check and winning the queen. So now white plays the move f4 to control the g2 square with the bishop. Other variation could be to play a move like queen d4, removing the queen from the second rank, but this allows a very fantastic resource, rook g2. And if king into g2, there comes queen into e1, and rook into g8 is following, and it will be mate soon. So in the game, white played the move f4, but this closes down queen attack on the h6, and now you can play the move knight c4. After queen c1, queen h2, and this is simply game over. White resigned in this position. As you can see, rook g1 checkmate is coming, and it's difficult to stop it, or else the rook on a3 will be lost. So this was a very beautiful game by the Indian Grandmaster Narayanan SL. I hope you like my explanation. Thanks for watching.